Welcome back to Build the Skatepark. Today we're going to work on a half-pipe training facility, kind of like the ones you'd see at Woodward. Real long, 4 foot to 5 foot to 6 foot. Let's get started. So of course we'll start with creating our little sketch pad. Start the origin as always. Follow that blue axis. Start with 4 foot. I'd like to do 10 at least. 4 and back. If you watch my introduction tutorial on making a ramp, you'll already know these steps. Let's do our axis. 12 is a little small. Let's go with 16. We're going to do a very slow, because this is a beginner's ramp. Really 3 feet would be better if you think about it. Let's do 3. How do we make that really quickly? Go into our group, select the top line, use your move tool, which is M. Make sure it's on the blue axis, and just do 1. Sorry, 1, enter. There you go, 3 foot. Let's go back to our axis again. That's definitely a slow and low ramp. It's perfect. This is for simplicity. And what we'll do from this is build upon it. So follow that green axis for the platform. I want a fairly large platform because you want people to be able to learn how to roll in. Let's go 10 foot, 3 foot, and back. And there's our face. So use P for press and pull, or push and pull. I want this to be extremely long, like 20 feet is probably good. But we should do in increments of 4, because most plywood is 4 foot by 8 foot. Let's go 24. Triple click to make a group by right clicking, make group. So Control C, Control V to copy paste. I'm going to right click, flip along green axis. And then we're just going to snap from corner to corner so they're aligned. And let's move it back. We're going to go pretty far. Let's do 16. I know that seems ridiculous. Let's do 12 then. We'll move it back 4. Make sure it stays on the green axis. Oops. You don't want to see that. Alright? So it's very low, very easy. Chances are your rail won't even hit on this curve. So you could learn how to do rock and rolls, fakie rocks, feeble to fakie. There's our flat bottom, just a simple rectangle. So that's where we're going to start, because it's a training facility. In fact, we might do a roll-in later. So in order to continue, we're going to open this group, select that face, and do copy. Get out of the group. We're going to use edit to paste in place. Alright? And what we want to do is continue this curve, but 16 sides is way too big. So let's do, I don't know, 3 maybe? See how it follows that curve with the pink dotted line? It's perfect. But is it? Looks like a straight line to me. So in that case, let's go ahead and draw a line straight up like our canvas. We only want to go about 1 foot high. I'm not going to go on this straight line. I'm going to go a little closer forward. What we don't want is a corner here. We want it to be smooth. So I'm actually going to go a little bit closer like that. I'll make sure it's on the right face. If it goes on this red axis, like that, it'll go in the wrong direction. See? Can't use that. So make sure it snaps to the face. Oops. Looks okay. I'm going to do reset by hitting space. Arch, let's do 2 sides. See, we don't want this line from here to here to be a straight line. We want it to be a bit curved. That's probably too much. Oh, you know what? Let's just leave it. Because we can always delete the previous line later by just selecting it and delete. Let's try this. I probably should have went back the entire to the very end. I'll do that next time. Oh, you know what? I was going to move this like so, but this will actually create 2 lines on the back, so I'm just going to delete it instead. Delete that one and start with a whole new line. There's no point in having extra lines where you don't need it. It doesn't hurt anything. And delete the middle line. There's our 4-foot face. So let's pull this out. And yes, you're going to see a line on your transition. We'll just hide that. Let's do another 24. To see where I'm going with this? We'll get higher and higher, and then we'll start adding elements. So to hide this line, you got to select it, hide. There is a right click menu, but it's much harder to right click. Oh. Yes, it isn't harder. I used to go left click and then right click, and I'd accidentally select something else. But it looks good. I don't love this little gradation here. There is another way to do this. We could try it on this side just to see as an example. Remember, we have 16 sides. Let's do 18 sides. First of all, let's draw our canvas. Do 1 foot. Make that a group. So let's say if we do 16, 17, let's do 18 sides. Start from here. Alright, how do we match it exactly? There's got to be a way. The problem is, where does this curve end up here to line up? Let's see how it doesn't match. So you could spend hours trying to make this curve match the original curve, or you can just redraw from the original curve like here. Right? It's not perfect, I agree. But it's pretty close. So these are a little bit narrower, and these get a little bit longer. Let's make that a group. Copy, paste. Let's flip it. Right. And we can reuse this flat bottom because open that group because it's exactly the same all the way across. Move. I'm holding shift to lock it to the red axis. There we go. You could always draw a line here to make it consistent with the rest of the ramps. Alright, let's continue. Same thing. Select the face. Go out of the group. I wish they had a command for paste in place, but they don't. Not in the 2017 version. The same thing here, we're going to go up. Let's do another foot, make it 5 foot. Arc, let's keep it at 2. It seemed to work pretty well. That's a little too steep for my liking. So I'm going to leave the original line and go back just a little. It's not bad, but this looks like a straight line to me. Yeah, from here to here. You can even test it. Oh, maybe not. So here's my straight line. It does curve a little bit. Oh, goodbye. I'm really not liking this curve. I think you get the idea. 24. Hide. Just right clicking. Hide. I know it's really hard to tell what you're actually clicking on. Especially when you right click. Just make sure the tip of that mouse is over the line. Alright. It really seems smoother from here to about right there, and then it goes a little too steep, doesn't it? So if that's the case, let's go ahead and redo it. Here, let's go back even a little bit further. Delete. Delete. I'm just afraid this is a straight line, and there's no purpose having a curve here. Yeah, see, that's almost a straight line. Trying to decide if I want to go keep this curve or just create a brand new one like I tried to earlier. Let's try it. So unfortunately, it's not going to line up, but we might be okay with that. Let's go 1 foot. Sometimes you just gotta redraw. Not the end of the world. Oops, nope. I want to make that a group, not a component. Arch. Let's do 18. I really like this curve. Wow, that's actually really close. Look at that. But it's not getting very steep. Right, let's leave it here. That's better. I still feel like I could do better. I want these transitions to be as mellow as possible. Let's see what happened here. It left a couple of the lines because they've intersected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a marker. No, let's just eyeball it. Here. About there. I just don't like how they're not even. I mean, you have to make a sacrifice somewhere. Oops. So hold shift to lock it to the green axis. All the way down, all the way back. And there's a new transition. So yes, there will be a little gap here. It sure does look nicer, doesn't it? You decide. What do you want? Do you want it to be a perfectly matching curve? Because mathematically it doesn't really work out. Because we have a very smooth 3-foot curve, and then it starts to get steeper in a shorter distance. But now that looks way better. I get a drink. Okay, so triple click. Make a group. Copy, paste. Flip. Snap into place. Let's do our next curve. So same thing. So we want to go to 5 foot this time. Let's see, 18, 19, 20. Let's do 20 sides, starting from here. It's not bad. I don't hate it. Oops. Oops. I start clicking a little early, and I miss it. You gotta wait for it to show that snap. Yeah, that's not bad. There's a little tiny difference here. No one's gonna see that. 24. Triple click, make a group, copy paste. It's just rinse and repeat at this point. But like I said, we're gonna make some elements like roll-ins. We'll make a tombstone, wall ride. Start to throw in those other elements to make it more interesting. So anybody can skate it. Beginners can skate it. Advanced skaters can rip it. Let's do one more. This thing's getting pretty huge. I think 6 feet is good for a total height. Alright, so let's do 22 here. And yes, I'm just eyeballing it, but I'm using this curve as a guide. I like it. I really do. Snap. Snap. Back to beginning. There's our face. 24. Group. So yeah, it's not perfect. You're not following the curvature exactly. But it's just more reasonable when it comes to an actual curve. Alright, so there's our training facility. 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot. We kept adding 2 sides to every curve. And as I said before, there will be a little bit of some gaps, but that's not the end of the world. Alright, so let's build a roll-in. I'm going to do it on the edge, so you have more grinding room. So first of all, how wide do you want to roll in? I'm going to start by moving this ramp away from the other ramps. And then when you do this, do the exact same number. Let's do 20. So you can move it back 20. Ever need to arch? 22 obviously is way too much. Let's do 4. Now let's do 5. Hit space to reset. 5. I'm going to select that and then cut. Go into the group. Paste in place. And all we have to do is push and pull. I want it to be a couple feet wide. Let's do 3. 3 is a good size. Alright, there's our roll-in. That was much easier. 20 feet. And then let's do another roll-in on this guy. You know, it's for those people who are a little scared to drop in, but they want to get some speed, get into the ramp. The drop-ins on 5 foot can be terrifying. 20 foot. I'm going to stick with the same curve. Oh. It is going the wrong way. Right? Select, cut, go into group, paste in place. 3 foot. Actually looks really small, but remember this is 24 feet wide. 3 foot is a good size. You know, I just decided out of the blue to undo that because I want to do it in the middle. I think that'd be funner. So there's your midpoint. We're going to make a channel. People can skate ollie over. Use that as an element for tricks. Let's go 3 foot. 3 foot. 3 foot. Okay, trying to remember what I did last time. Should watch my own video. I think what I did was I drew some lines. Like that. There's always more than one way to do this. Do one more. Now if you want to see these hidden lines, the best way is to just do. I usually go to the toolbars and I use this soften edges just temporarily. Unsoften, so now you can click on those lines. So what we're doing is making a hole in the ramp. And then you're going to draw some lines to make a face. Yeah, this is exactly how I did it last time. That was my first time creating a roll-in the middle of a ramp. Corner. Be careful not to snap back here. This corner. Right. I know that not all that is necessary. We'll delete it later. Yeah, that looks good. Let's do press and pull. And that's where I snapped it, right to this edge, but from this side. And like I said, it's going to create some needless faces. Ah, it did not. Very cool. Last time there was a couple faces inside where I drew the square. Sometimes SketchUp is very smart. It knows what you're doing. Alright, go back to our smooth. Smooth it out. Close that toolbar. Move back. I think we did 20 feet. Oops, that was not 20 feet. 2, 0. Make sure it's on that green axis. There's a channel. There's a roll in. Alright, what else could we use? Tombstone. Haven't done any coping yet, just because I knew we were going to add some other elements. How about a little vert area? Right off the 6 foot. Let's do 3 foot. I know that looks crazy. Five sides is not bad. You know what, we want us to go to vert, so let's draw a vert line. Something like that. And then we'll do an arch. So you probably don't need 5 sides from here, because see how tiny those sides are? I have a better idea. Sometimes it's hard to tell if this is actually a curve. It is. I just do a little straight line. And from here we'll go to vert. How's that? 3 foot. Some daredevil will definitely skate this. Not me. Not I. Let's make this 4 feet wide. That's really tiny, doesn't it? Let's do 4 more. I feel like that's too big. We can always just go down a foot. Like that. So it's just let's go a little bit more. It's for people who want to drop it on vert. So there's a little bit of vert. Now if you don't like this line in the front or on the back, we can explode, cut, and make it part of this ramp. It's just, once you do that, it's really hard to edit this ramp individually. So hide, delete, delete. There. What else do we need? How about a little box? Come off from here. Let's do like 6 foot. Like that. So you know they can pop out, do a stall. 4 foot. Pop out, stall in there, and pop back in. Trying to keep things as simple as possible. You know, there's a gap. It's at the Woodward Park. Let's try to do that where the coping goes through the gap. Whoops. That is not what I wanted to do. There. So we're going to do the same thing. Find the center point. Midpoint. Let's go back 3. Make this one pretty big so you can grind all the way across. 4. Or do stalls. I'll make it smaller because this is not a roll-in. Let's build our faces. Right? Just like the other one. Good. Go back to our toolbar. I don't know why they don't have it on here. Those are all different tools. I'm looking for... here they are. Soften edges. And it didn't appear. Okay. So I just go to Paint Bucket. It seems to work best. And now I can't find it. Oh, you know why? Because I think I just turned it off. I'll show you all how to create, you know, different colors for your objects. I think I did in the first one. There we go. Soften those edges. There's one more thing I want to build. It's one of those tall, what do they call it? It's like a wall, but it stays at the same angle. I'm trying to think of a good place to put it. So you can fly out. Let's do it here. So you can fly out of a transition and land in it. That's going to be hard. Let's do it on this side. Basically, I'm going to follow that curve, but it's just going to go straight. Say like 4 feet. See what I mean? 6 feet. No, let's do 8. This whole thing is 24 feet wide. It should match perpendicular. Yep. Nope. I clicked too early. There we go. So it is a ramp, but it's just keeping that same curve without curving at all. Let's go back like 1 foot. Oh, that's funny. I don't even know why I built the sides. We're just going to press and pull. I always think the easier way. Let's do 8 foot. Do things the easy way, not the hard way. Now we're going to move it to the other side. Let's keep it on the red axis. I'm holding shift. You can snap anywhere on this face. I'm not going to make it a group because we want to make it part of that ramp. So cut. Go into that group, paste in place, hide. There you go. So now technically you could fly out of here and land on this. If you want it to be wider, you just click that face. Let's go another 4 foot. There we go. So you can also drop in on that. But you get the idea. Training facility, right? Let's do some coping real quick so it's legitimate. Looks good. 24 sides is way too much. Let's do 8.1. I don't know. Does that look round to you? It's never really going to look round. Let's do reset with space. A. Let's do... Oh, why is it on 5? I did 8. Oops, I did A. Sorry. Circle. Let's do 10. That's why I was on 5. 0.1. Oops. So what happens if you click and release too slowly? Clearly that coping's in the wrong spot. That's going to get in the way. Let's move it back. Move it down. That's not bad. Probably go up just a little, but remember, this is for beginners. We don't want it to be a crutch, but they do have to get used to coping because every ramp has some type of coping. For lip tricks. Oops, wrong surface. There we go, or wrong axis. 0.1. Press and pull. Make a group. Move into place. Right? But remember, this is not part of this group here. We have a choice, which I like to select both. Make another group. So yes, you can have groups inside of groups. From my previous tutorials, you would have already learned this. And it's great to keep everything independent, but you don't want your faces, your lines, intersections all touching because they do affect each other. So we create groups. 0.1. Someone can figure out what 0.1 is in inches, then you know how big this coping is. Maybe like a 3-inch coping. Looks good. Gonna do one coping here. We want it to go across the gap. You know what's funny? I did the center point, but I didn't center it. So it's actually to one side, but you know what? That's cool. Keeps things interesting. Kind of sucks though, there's not a lot of places here for long grinds. What's up with that? Because it's a training facility. You want to be able to grind. Let's go all the way. Make a group. I forgot to go select, shift select, group. Select the coping, select, group. So everything's grouped. C. 0.1. Press and pull. Make a group. Let's see how it's sticking to those axes. I don't like that. Unless you do it on purpose. And notice I can click anywhere on the surface to line it up. I'm not going to do a coping up here. Well, you know what? Why not? I think that'd be fun. 0.1. Snap. Triple click. Make a group. Looks good. So shift. Click on each one. Select them all. You can also do that. I'll show you. As long as each one, some edge of each one of those items or objects inside that rectangle, it'll get selected. If I do it this way, nothing gets selected. Because this rectangle means everything inside. Like this coping right here, it's inside the rectangle completely, but this one is not. Let's get familiar with the selection types. .1. Not bad. No. So I clicked the wrong object. Okay, there we go. Oops, let go. Just click and release as fast as you can and it'll stick. Good. Let's do a little coping on here too. Why not? So do that rectangle. See how they all select? Make a group. Well, this will be interesting. Easy. Do we want coping on vert? Yes, we do. Okay. Make a group. I just had an idea. This coping could extend all the way across. So let's cut it out. Paste in place. Double click. You can select this side or just do P. Have it follow all the way to this edge. That's pretty cool. So now you can go up and grind this and try to pop off. Alright, there's our training facility. Now if you want, select the entire thing. Make component. We'll call it, I don't know, mini ramp training facility. You can put a description there if you want. It's really not a big deal unless you're going to share it in the warehouse, but obviously if you tried that in 2017 SketchUp, it doesn't work. Don't need to set the access. Don't need to always face camera, and you do want to replace the selection, because this is our selection. Otherwise it just disappears. There you go. Now we got a half pipe training facility with lots of elements. We can easily continue to add more elements to it or change the widths, heights, shapes. But just for tutorial purposes, there it is. You're done. Have fun skating.